Good morning, everybody. Hello. Happy Friday the 13th. You know what that means. It's Friday. I got a Metallica t-shirt on. Avan's here. The whole crew's here. We got a whole crew. It is Wake Up with Benzinga, the only show where we get better together because that is the mission. There's so many shows out there, so many that are going to tell you what to buy. We're doing this as a team effort together every week, making sure everybody gets involved and kicks some ass, baby. We're all hanging out. Imagine it is actually 4 o'clock on a Friday, and we're at a bar, and there's these two idiots at the end of the bar. That would be myself and Avan, and they're drinking, and they're talking about stocks, and you want to come be like, hey, I want to know about what you guys are talking about. I trade stocks. And then we all hang out and have a great conversation and everybody having a lot of fun. That's what we're doing tonight at 7 a.m. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. It is Wake Up with Benzinga. It's Friday, 7 a.m. If we have Metallica t-shirts on, Avan has a beard and a wig and a Slayer t-shirt. This is obviously the place that you could come to be yourself. There's no pretentiousness. You don't have to be hoity-toity. There are no wrong questions. We're all doing this together. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm Mike. I used to be a former financial advisor. I've been in financial services for 10 years. I've worked for JP Morgan Securities LLC, which is JP Morgan's investment bank. I've worked for Raymond James, and I've worked for Merrill Lynch. And I hated all of them. I really did. And I hated all of them because everyone sucks. And two, the people that need financial advisors and financial services the most really need them the least. You really, or use them the most, really need them the least. So I bucked the trend and I came here. I've got a very traditional, long-term, old-school, conservative approach, but I understand how important this is. My co-host, my good friend, Avan Sinclair, he is an OG trader. He's got tons of years of experience, does this on their own spins, flips. He's a day trader. He catches things that none of us ever will. He's up super early. These two worlds coming together with everybody in the middle, and I think we may have a big announcement next week.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not going to go there.
I know. Well, anyway, so we right now we have a good mix, and I think we're going to go to a great mix. I'm really, really sincerely mean that. So that's why we're all here together. We're going to talk. We have our own slew of stocks today. I'm very excited. Avan, you had something you asked me. You wanted to take a minute.
Man. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. You know, there's 1,000 shows out there. I said this last week that are telling you what to buy, force feed you. We are not about that. We're about you guys. You guys get on here, tell us what you're into, what you're bought this week, what you're going to buy today, what you're going to buy next week. Duke it out, Thunderdome it out. Let us know what you're doing, because I've gotten over, a lot of these analysts, and I'll just mention Kramer for one from CNBC.
Okay. What's up?
A perfect example. When Palantir came out, its IPO, he loved the company. He couldn't say enough about the company. Now he comes on the show yesterday during its IPO at 9:30 and says he doesn't understand what the company does and that it's a wood stock. It's basically a meme stock. And then you have, a journalist this morning, Josh Enomoto from Investor Place, saying that you shouldn't buy Palantir stock because Alex Karp keeps selling it off. Now, the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm going somewhere with this, is you as traders need to do your own due diligence, because these two people are fucking idiots. And I'll tell you why. Enomoto doesn't even know what the deal is with Karp, okay? Karp was given stock options when he went public, okay? And he has to sell them off every month before December, otherwise he gets hit with a tax bill. It's not that he's an insider selling his shares off. And Josh is not the only person that says this. It's constant. So the point being is you guys have got to do your own due diligence and don't rely on these media companies that tell you something and they tell it for a special interest reason, okay? Some of them have investments in those stocks. Some of them don't. Some of them have copies that they're given and told what to say. So you guys, you're smart enough, do your due diligence, and that's my diatribe of the day.
Awesome. Yeah. So you could miss out on a huge opportunity just by taking what you see face value, hearing it from somebody else. Right? Dude, that sucks. Yeah. So if you did not, that's a great example, man. CEO has to sell because he has he's got an issue with taxes, and we should look to RK has very strict requirements for their holdings. They may have to sell just to keep in balance, right? That does not necessarily mean they want to sell that company. They just need to keep it in line with the rest of the fund. Great point,
Exactly.
Avan.
Yeah, they don't want to lose all their money due to taxes. Who the hell wants to do that?
Good point, man. Okay, so that makes sense. And that is going to be something we are going to chat on very quickly. There's two things I want to cover very first. I did this on the demo. I do a Benzinga Pro demo Wednesdays, 4 o'clock on YouTube. Join us. I found an ETF that does officially have a golden cross. I looked into it a little bit more. It's an absolute return fund, which is good. I mean, slow and steady growth, more or less. This is definitely more of my world of financial advising, absolute return. Two, but they rely on alternative investments, which is basically your top tier products. So you can have your average families, your households that just have money. They have mutual funds. They'll have a couple ETFs. But then your top tier clients, you offer alternative investments without getting into those too much. They're not options. They're not futures. They're still derivatives. Nonetheless, this fund, FLSP, covers that. I don't want to go into it too much more than I just noticed on Wednesday it had a golden cross, and I want to give that to you guys. My 50 is represented by the green, my 200 by the yellow, and it officially happened. And it's an absolute return fund, so it might be something to take a look into your portfolio, and it might have a quick pop there. Before we jump into the main part, man, we got freaking hosed on free. So earnings came out. They were not great. I'm going to use Benzinga Pro. I am in the home screen. I got to the details tab by just clicking details. And of course, every time you open a tab, name it, get in there, name it. So problem. Give me a quick second. I think you guys are good there. So let's go to the calendar. We can click on earnings. And they absolutely got smoked. So that was not a good not a very good earnings report. We're not too happy about that. However, we still have some hope. We don't want to give up on Reed. And for anybody just joining us, it's a penny stock. The play is they're a beverage company, and they're a small company. They got a contract with Walmart, a huge company. Could be some easy trades throughout. Nothing really went too well for us to start off. Want to get Reed out of the way quickly. Man, they got smoked. So we'll probably be putting Reed down for a while. I don't think it's going to be coming back anytime soon. If it is trending around $70, then let me get to a daily chart. Excuse me. Gosh, Joseph would absolutely kill me. Nonetheless, it is a little bit oversold, but I think a company like this, you're not getting anything until you get a headline, so you're going to have to add it to a watch list in Benzinga Pro. Just hit watch list. When you're in a watch list, it's very easy. Oh, I lost one of my watch lists. That's fine. You can set settings in your watch list very easily. And just get an alert from Benzinga. Hit this little button, and then we'll send you a sound notification anytime a news story comes across the wire about the company. So have a watch list with Reed on it. Have alerts set up. Anytime a story about Reed comes across, you'll get alerted. And I think that's basically the only way the stock is going to move in the short term, meaning until at least next quarter. Very disappointing, though. They should have had big results. I know. Guys, I know. Now, we got a quick comment in the chat. Gary, thanks for joining in. Guys, we love the opportunity to get to talk with you all. It is a treat. Avan and I literally talk stocks behind the scenes every day by ourselves. So it's awesome to have everybody come in and get the point of view. Gary, let's see what he said. I went into earnings with a 4,000 average at 88.2. Okay. Bought another 4,000 at spot 61 and spot 66 now. His cost basis is 76 cents or so. had sold it to start with for 10 and bought back 10% and bought back. So I decided whether to hold more catalyst. Not sure I followed that along, but basically think you've brought your cost basis down and you're just trying to figure out if you should be holding or if you should let a 10% pull back be the end of your exit. I would, in this case, I'm getting very involved in the discipline of trading, and at that point, the loss is there.
You would keep his position with the new average, or you would sell out at 10% loss?
I would sell. I would get rid of the 10% loss. If I've got it, I've averaged down. I'm basically at the current price right now. But if it goes down another 10%, I'm out. I can't go.
Joseph, what do you think?
Looking at the chart, it seems like we're still hanging around the bottom area. So the 52-week high that I'm seeing is, 52-week low is 57 cents. So you're not like too far away, but at the same time, it's a very fall drop from where you're at. This is where you're going to want to make sure that the plan that you had going into this is stays the course. So if you were going to get stopped out at a certain level, limit your loss. Don't go below the level that you were going to accept the loss at and take it, because if you keep averaging down, you're going to average down continually into a loser.
Bingo.
So yeah, just stick with your plan on this trade. And if you're already there at the bottom that you said you would be, then yeah, maybe take your money and look for something better. If you do believe in this, like he was saying, like Mike was saying at the beginning, do your due diligence. If you think there's going to be a turnaround here, then make that your plan. But otherwise, it's probably something that you'd want to take out your money out and go somewhere else.
Yeah. See, now I'm on the complete flip side of that. I will take a loss if it's 1-2% and take that money and move on to something else if I know that it's going to continue farther. But at 10%, you're basically at the point of no return, and you're basically forced to hold long at that point. We have two other gentlemen that are on video. I'd like to hear what their positions are on this before we move on. If that's all right with you, Michael?
Of course.
Fellas, who's on right now? Guys, we have two guys that are on video. Anybody? Bueller? Okay.
While we're waiting for
on.
Mr.
Go ahead, Michael. Where are you going?
Real quick, last comment on Reed. Mr. Goodwin, great to see you. Thanks for joining the conversation. Any talk about Reed getting bought up by a big guy since they have so much national attention? Great question. Time will tell. I'm taking a quick look at the news. Nothing's popping out about that. I would expect to see maybe I would assume the insiders may want to buy a little bit more and then be able to profit from the purchase of their company. Great question, man. I don't think so. I don't know what I would say. What is the demand for niche beverage businesses, and particularly they already have access to Walmart? So I don't know. That's a good question.
Speaking of niche beverages, Mountain Dew is in the process of building an alcoholic drink. So
I know.
Jacked up on caffeine and get drunk on alcohol at the same time.
It won't have any caffeine in it. I won't have any, but it'll taste delicious.
It won't have any caffeine in it. So what's the point of drinking Mountain Dew?
I have absolutely no clue, but if you don't think I'm buying one of those freaking cans, you are out of your mind.
It sounds like a take on Four Loko almost.
Yeah. You know that Mountain Dew is basically is made with vegetable oil. You know that, right? If you look on the ingredients.
What does that have anything to do with me?
Vegetable oil.
The things I have ingested one way or the other, vegetable oil. God, I don't care.
I think vegetable oil is the least damaging to your body that you've ingested there, Michael.
How else is Mike going to get his greens?
Yeah, right. Well, he can smoke them.
Great. All right, fine. So the meat of the matter today, I want to ask you a quick question. Basically, folks, is the future cheap? And we're gonna review before we bring up any tickers from.
All right, hold on, because I've got a bunch. I've got a bunch of people on YouTube chat that are asking about Palantir, which we can talk about.
I love it.
I know that you're going there.
Bingo.
I've been talking about Palantir since the beginning of time, ever since their IPO. It's funny because there's so many people that are out there that do not understand what this company does. They don't take the time to do the research, and instead they follow what the memes say or the Kramers say, Wall Street bets, instead of just being your own person and figuring this out on your own. I've always said that the company is a good long play. It's $100 stock at some point, even though it closed yesterday at
under 25,
24 and some change, and it's 24.96 in pre-market.
Hey,
it was at its high at 25.76. Had
one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Excellent earnings reports yesterday. If you watch the conference call, you'll see that they're so powerful that they're integrating satellites to track adversarial submarines in the deep sea.
He's right. I watched it too. I didn't believe him, so I had to watch it. He's 100% right. They rotate satellites. Their artificial intelligence knows what satellites coming in to track the submarine. They'll rotate it to track the data. It's incredible. It's incredible. Go on, man.
Yeah. It's mind blowing what they do.
Yeah.
And, if you read the earnings report, you'll see that their commercial business is up 90%. They're making a ton of money. They're increasing their market share. This stock is definitely a long-term play. I got excoriated on chat about it because people think I'm a complete idiot and they're not wrong. But Palantir is definitely a long-term play. You guys, it's at $24.94 right now. I could see it probably going back to the $30 level in the near future. But it may go down today. So don't buy it right now. Wait for it to hit the bottom today and then buy it if you're going to do that.
Avan, why is it a good possibility it goes down today? Because
it has
after
a tendency
earnings
to do that after earnings report. It has a tendency to go down after earnings report, just like Apple does, just like Tesla does. I mean, to me, it's never made any sense that it does that, but that's just the way the market is anymore.
I don't know. It looks pretty good to me. I'm looking at my chart that has my moving averages on it, and I'm looking at the 20, the 50, and the 200. It 2 days ago, it blew over the 50 and the 200, and now it's holding.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
holy
crap! Yeah, man.
You have the 20 curling up, so that's going to create the silver cross once it gets up that high, and you kind of have like a bit of a bull flag forming a little bit. We'll probably see like another day of it being, or trying to test the 200 before it comes back up. I don't know. It could do that. I just don't think it's going to drop. It might find support at 24.
Yeah,
I think 24 is a good level.
Get a good price.
The 200 has just been really, really strong on keeping that price up. And yeah, we did have a July, August where it was kind of hanging out below it, but not by much.
Yeah, well, it did hit that $18 level or $19 level back then.
No. When it dipped below the 200, it didn't get any lower than what is this? About 20.
17.
2055 was low when it dipped below the 200 daily moving average.
Yeah, when was that, man? I don't know. I got to go drinking on the job.
Earlier, back in May, yes, it got down to 1706.
Yeah.
But it found support on the 200.
Yep, bounced right off it.
Yeah.
So I'm liking the 200 right now.
Look at this volume too, man. To push it up above that 200 and keep it sailing.
Kathy Woods bought 3 million shares yesterday. So, that didn't help. I mean, that helped, obviously.
I don't know that she's the best parameter.
I was kicking myself after it left my mouth, because a lot of the stuff that she's been buying, it doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I was kicking myself. I couldn't believe I actually said that shit. But I was just bringing up the point that the volume was high. I mean, I thought it was at well over 100 million at some point during the day.
Cathy Wood is like I've burnt my fingers on Cathy Woods. Sometimes I have bought like in just followed the Cathy Wood and I made a loss on those.
Oh no,
It's
I follow what
okay.
she buys. I get the ETF email from her too, so I like to see what she's doing. But it's not something that you just want to like base a trade plan on. So it's fine to look what she's doing and how much she's buying, and just factor that into your plan. But don't trade or invest off of it.
Well, too, when you get the email at the end of the night, you don't know if it's best to buy in next morning because they may have bought in first thing the day before when the stock was on its move, capitalized on that, and then so you're basically a day behind. So, but if you are going to make a long-term play, then obviously, that's what.
That is a really, really good point. Well, so today may come down a little bit. It is definitely extended above the Bollinger Band. So yes, it should theoretically come down a little bit, but I wouldn't put it as a major loss. And long story short, I mean, right now the 200 is right at 24. I think there's a great question in the chat. What's a decent entry? Price you pay is so important. I think 24 is a safe entry. I don't know if it's going to hold 24 indefinitely. It's pretty far overextended, and I'm kind of watching this bottom trend here. So I could see it coming down closer to 21 eventually, maybe in a couple bad days. Would not worry about that. I would just scoop up some more shares. We're very bullish on Palantir. If anybody doesn't know, the easiest way to put it is they make accurate predictions based on your entire business's data by combining every piece of data with artificial intelligence, literally taking a God's eye view of your whole company, seeing exactly what every little aspect is doing, making them talk together, and then figure out what could happen by taking in outside information as well. Long story short, just think of it like Skynet, but don't think of it like Terminator Skynet. Think of it as it knows everything that it's doing, and it's able to take in outside information to say this is the strategy to move forward. Incredible company.
Those of you that are worried about the whole spying issue or Big Brother or whatever, I have news for you. Everything that you do on your phone, everything that you do on the internet is getting compiled and saved at the NSA servers back in Utah. So to think that there's no way that I can get around. I'm going to try and get around being tracked. It's too late for that. Okay, you've got facial recognition cameras on all your light poles. You've got all of this stuff that's being compiled by FBI, DEA, NSA, CIA, all that stuff. So don't even worry about it.
I don't think hopefully not.
The great thing about Palantir is, Palantir only allows permissions of people that need to see that information for certain reasons, and not everybody else.
In the company,
They don't store all that data back at their servers. It's all on the client servers. So it's not like Palantir. There's no way that Palantir is spying on you. So those of you that keep thinking that, get over it, move on, and store it.
Okay. Well, great. We like Palantir. It's a good one. The earnings were great. The biggest catch on the earnings for me was the free cash flow exploded. I think that's the biggest deal. It's fantastic to see a tech company make money and cash flow. There isn't hyperbole. They've delivering results. I think it's a sound company from a traditional approach. I love their applications going forward. I think it is also a little undervalued right now. That does not mean it is not going to be volatile. There is going to be a lot of fluctuation in the price. Ride it out, but do not miss out on this opportunity. And again, guys, long story short, is the future cheap? That's kind of the question we want to get to. At $25, Palantir could get a better entry point, but I still think it is a little cheap.
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
you do have quite a bit of analysts that came out with coverage on it and saying that they expect it to go to 44, 30, much higher than it is right now. So those are pretty good odds.
They are, and that's a great point, Joseph. Thank you. Probably conservative efforts just to kind of get on board with it. Not too bad. Not a recommendation, folks, but definitely worth your time to take a look at. Quick question in the chat from Robert. Thanks for joining the conversation. He learned a lesson on Wednesday. Ben, thank you so much for sharing that. That is so important because we all do that. Thanks for being there, man. I missed early movers Monday and Tuesday, so I paid a lot of attention to news and found 5 stocks that were being lauded as possible movers. Bought small shares in all 5, thinking I would add on to the upward movers and drop the others. Didn't work out as planned. Oh, I think I see what you did there. So you were kind of just hoping to kind of take a wave, and they did not work in your direction. That's okay. Nothing you can do about that.
I hate it when that 5-10 minute window, I could look at all 5 intelligently, and I got stuck on one, and a couple others dropped, and just pick one, maybe 2, and leave it at that.
Hey, thanks for being a badass, buddy. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you came on the show, and hey, what are you going to do? Move on, take the loss, and I'm sure we can find you another buy sooner than later.
It wasn't a bad loss. It was just an emotional loss.
Look, those are easier. You can drown those away pretty easily. I'm sure Avan's got a couple cocktail mixes for you. Can send up for.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, speaking of cheap future companies that should return an actual cash flow, what is the ticker for Berkshire Grey?
It's BGRY.
BGRY. I think it's BGRY. Thank you. Okay, Avan, give me a 2-minute synopsis of why you like this company. What the hell do they do?
Okay. So Amazon has been moving to make their warehouses completely autonomous and robotic because obviously labor is expensive.
Yes.
You know, you got to pay for lunch breaks. You got to pay for health care. So this week, Amazon made a statement, made a news story that they're building 6 new robotic warehouses in Florida. So
what?
Berkshire Grey, so Berkshire Grey does the same thing, but they don't do it for Amazon. They've developed their own system. If you go to the Berkshire Grey website, you'll see a video to where there's no people in the warehouse at all. It's all robotic, pick and pack, supply chain management. So you can have a company like Walmart, Publix, Kroger, or whatever, fill your orders, ship your orders without anybody in the warehouse. It saves 70% at minimum on labor.
Wow.
And if in today's society where everybody would rather shop online, if you don't have robotic and autonomous warehouses, you will be left behind in competition. So Berkshire Grey does this. They're, it's at $9 right now, which is a little high over the week because I got in at $8. But I do see this going probably to 15 in the near future. I don't know, Joseph, I think you did a real quick deep dive on this only because you couldn't, but you couldn't get everything because the financials aren't out there. Tell us what you think.
Yeah. So Mike asked me to look at this, and I immediately thought it was interesting because it is involved with AI and robotics, 2 things that were part of my thought on what's going to, drive some of these infrastructure plays. But I was looking for financials, and I just couldn't find anything because this was actually a former SPAC. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't notice, anything going back before March. I'm sorry, before February. But I don't also have any news on what's been going on with this lately because I'm really interested to find out what happened on July 15th and why it had that huge drop that brought the RSI down to.
Oh God, yeah.
To like the teen or to
dude, yeah. Holy crap. So looking at it right now, man.
That may have been IPO remorse, just like what happened with JOBY and all of these IPOs anymore. You may get a quick 10 minutes or a day pop up high, and then they freaking crumble the next day or for a week after that.
That was here though. That was here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's just gonna be part of the de-SPACing process. There's gonna be, investors that are gonna get, redemptions, and there's gonna be others that are just gonna give up and move on to something else. But it's trying to get back up to $10.
Yeah.
Which is where the SPAC price usually starts.
Doesn't look impossible, man. It looks like it might have rounded out its bottom.
But no, I don't think this is the end for it. I think this is just the beginning. This is
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty good company with a really good product, but I don't have any idea of what their balance sheet's like or what they're making. So
well, I mean, the infrastructure is still in the young phase. I mean, you can only build so many warehouses so fast. We've got COVID going around, and you can't get workers to build them. But this is definitely a long-term play. I mean, this is the future of everything. I mean,
it is. I think if you've been paying attention to this show, I think you all understand that the autonomous future is coming one way or another. We are completely bullish on it. That is going to happen. The big three, by the way, is already like full steam ahead, and they laid those ground plans. And I say that because we're headquartered here in Detroit, and I love the city. But they laid those ground plans decades ago by putting the robots. That was the first sign that you guys got a shelf life, okay? We all believe in an autonomous workforce sooner than later. Companies like Palantir being able to analyze an entire fleet of Walmart and Amazon trucks that are running on battery power, crisscross across the country. Trucks are basically paperweights unless they're actually moving. You got to keep the truck moving all the time to make it profitable. Otherwise, it's just an asset sitting there costing you money. They want to keep that running. Artificial intelligence is going to be the way to do that. Okay, well, if you're loading a truck at 3:30 in the morning, you're going to need a robot to fill the truck. Great story from Benzinga Pro here, Thursday, August 12th. Yesterday, FedEx installs robotics in a Queens facility, and guess what? They're using Berkshire Grey's AI-enabled robotic production sortation and identification system. That's awesome. Yeah. And guess what? They liked it. We are encouraged by the initial package. That's good.
Colleen on YouTube brings up the same point that FedEx uses Berkshire Grey. And then Tom says that there's another company called Ocado that uses or leases their technology to Walmart. So thanks for getting involved, guys, on YouTube. Sorry, Mike, I interrupted you, man. I did it 1,000 times a show.
We're not surprised. And Avan, correct me if I'm wrong, but the best traders, the best day traders are always thinking ahead because they want to get that quick score, right? And I may be putting you on the spot here, but I would assume around January through March of 2020, you were starting to narrow in on some biotech, FDA coverage companies, something like that, because you knew that shit was coming down the line. So you as a trader want to find that asset that's undervalued, that will have that quick pop on that big piece of news, and then take off, move in, move out, you make your money, you're done, right? Do I have the basic? Exactly.
Yeah, but you can't survive in this market if you're just playing short. If you're just playing day trade stuff, I mean, in theory, you can make your 1%, 10% a day, and then
love that,
money in
bro.
line. But at the same time, you can also lose everything on a really shitty trade. And this market is really unpredictable, and sometimes, man, you can get in on what you think is a good deal, and then all of a sudden the bottom fall out on you. So you have to have a hybrid. You have to go a little bit long on some stuff. In companies that you believe in, do your due diligence that they're going to grow, that they're going to make you money over a year, 2 years. And then at the same time, you can get in, get out, and day trade, even a single stock 4 or 5 times a day, depending on their ups and downs. I mean, you just have to, use your studies, follow the trends, watch the news,
Agree.
Your soul to Satan.
Well, I know you've already done that. I think you're going on your second soul, by the way. You should really look into that clause. But the point is, nonetheless, you can't be caught with your pants down. You can't be looking backwards. You really, if you're going to be a sophisticated trader and you expect to take money from the market, and remember, the market is literally a mass of people, and nobody is your friend. You have buyers against sellers, and you have the undecided group that's putting pressure on both sides, both of those groups. It's just a bunch of people. No one's coming to save you. Point being, someone is going to take advantage of it. There is no massive machine. There is, it's what's coming. Whatever the human mind sees and wants and values comes through the market. So don't get lost with your pants down. You have to be thinking ahead. Robotics, artificial intelligence, this might be that door starting to creep in. And lastly, long story short, I don't think anybody should be shocked to see a situation like COVID maybe spur that change and that shift a little bit sooner than we anticipated. I'm not saying, guys, what if the world was really that dark and the powers that be were like, you know what? Why don't we let this COVID thing play out so we can clear out the warehouses a little bit quicker?
We know the technology. We know the technology is there, and we want to make it happen faster so that we can increase our profit margins. So let's just create a pandemic and then force everybody to stay home and then run our warehouses with robots.
That probably didn't happen. But on the other side of a pandemic, a business owner might say, you know what? After everything I've gone through, it might be worth it just to do the investment in the robot. So I like Berkshire Grey. Is the future cheap?
That was a joke, by the way. NSA, don't hunt me down and put a bullet in my head.
Shut up, dude. Nobody's coming to get you. Nobody's coming to get you. I don't know. Are there any do you have any trades in the short term for Berkshire Grey? Avan, is there anything you're like?
Yeah, I got in and got out the last couple of days. I got in at 8:10 and then got out at 9.
Wow,
4, so
that was a hell of a trade, dog. Good job, man.
3-day move.
Yeah, I made a quick trade there. But I'm probably going to get back in and hold Berkshire long, a small position, but not at this point. I'm going to wait for it to come back down, probably at the 845 level. It doesn't have a whole lot of volume to it, but it is relatively volatile if you look at the candles.
Yeah. Let's go look at the 4-hour real quick.
I'm trying to recall the article I read about this that I could find, and I believe this they got a massive amount of cash in.
Yeah, they did. They did
the SPAC merger, so that's good news. As far as getting into this, because I did see that they were looking at a $15 price target in about a year from now. So this is a pretty good spot if you're going to hold that long. But if you want to get a better entry, see if it. See if it can hold above the 20, because if it doesn't and it knocks its head on the 50 and then comes back down, you might have a better chance for an entry then. Maybe around 8 if that holds. You could start at 8, but limit your downside, because if it doesn't hold 8, I don't know. Who knows where it goes? It's good. It could go down to 4.
Yeah, I don't see it going down to 4, but I do understand your reasoning and your technical analysis on that. The herd would get spooked. The herd would get spooked at it dropping like that, and then of course a forced sellout would make it, come to fruition. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I do believe that this company is the future, and that $15 is definitely on the horizon.
Okay, speaking of cheap, what if I could fly to downtown Detroit in a taxi? This one, first and foremost, let me check. I do want to check the price of Hood real quick, because I believe it was about a week ago that Avan and I were like, do not buy fucking Hood at fucking $70 or $60 a share. That was a bad idea. It's going to come down. Now, what about JOBY? Avan, this is a autonomous helicopter taxi company. Long story short, I think this is impossible, because when the hell is this going to be practical? This is a great example of a difference of a company like Palantir and not a make-believe company, but a Palantir makes money. They had, how many contracts did they have over $20 million last year? It's in the quarterly report. It was
it's like
really good
contracts over 20 million, and then
right
10 or 20 over 5. I got to look at it again. I'm having a moment, because I've been drinking heavily.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Sales now. JOBY is an advanced technology, and their IPO price was around $10, and then it just blew up to like 14, 15.
Came right down,
and then came back down, and now it's at 11.58. But the point
Don't get caught in
that you're making is that the technology's there, but when in the hell are you going to put butts in seats? When in the hell are you going to start charging people to fly from New York to Detroit?
So who the hell why are you buying this thing? This doesn't make any sense. I mean, unless you're moving literally massive dollars into this thing early, that you expect literally to turn $100,000 into $1 million within a few years. I don't understand why you buy this. You guys know I rally against IPOs because this is exactly what happens. I think people get way too hyped. I think this candle, remember, the market is just mass psychology. I think this is straight up the bulls taking advantage of the sheep and the hogs, and then the sellers kicking right in and saying, nope. And the bulls didn't care. The bulls didn't fight back. They didn't care at all. They knew it was coming. They took their money and they ran.
Yeah, that was entirely a day trade. In volume.
See you later. So now what are we left with?
The government hasn't even approved autonomous driving. How in the hell are they going to approve autonomous flying? And you know how slow those guys are.
I actually think autonomous flying could be way sooner than driving, though, right? I mean, there's one track, there's less vehicles, there's no pedestrians, there's no obstacles, there's no falling rocks, there's no stop sign. You can't stop the damn thing when it's in the air. I could see flying. Wait. Great comment in the chat earlier from sorry, I'm scrolling up, but Kroger already has autonomous drones distribute. Thank you, Gary Smith. Kroger has a plant using drones to deliver within 1 mile of distribution centers during certain times. That's autonomous. I think. See it. Walks right.
Yeah, but that's different than putting humans in.
A little.
Well, you got to think how much it's going to cost for your insurance, for your liability. And then, you've got all kinds of different factors. You got to, have the FAA involved, which Palantir software runs the FAA. But it's all going to boil down to how much the lobbyists pay your congressmen and senators in dark rooms to get this passed in the near future, because the government takes forever. I mean, we haven't even gotten an infrastructure package passed yet.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. My father was a pilot. The large airplanes could take off and land by themselves as far back as the 90s. The pilot was there mostly to make sure that nothing went wrong. Just take control in unanticipated situations. Autonomous flight is not that far off on a large scale. I agree with him. Insurance is cheaper if it crashes. 2 less lawsuits, no pilot. Gary.
That's pretty good. This is another SPAC though, and that's why you got all that action at the $10 level before it came up, before this pop, which was the closing of the merger. That's what that big green candle was, is when they closed the merger. So
got it.
That's gonna definitely get the action. And if you go back further, you can see that this was one of those SPACs that got a lot of excitement during the beginning of the year, when the small caps and SPACs in general were just on fire. It got as high up as some of the highs before. Let's see, what is that high? About 14. I'm sorry, I have a mouse that's not behaving as well as I'd like.
Well, you're in a hotel room. It's
So,
but if anybody didn't know, it's 4:45 in the morning, right, Joseph?
So I'm trying to make do. But no, 1433 it looks like was the high, and if you draw a straight line across, you can see that was kind of where the price was topping out earlier this year, was in that same area. So
I'm still in it. I believe it. Oh Jesus, yeah, dude, got it. Oh man, yeah, that gap wanted to get filled in.
But the fact that it held above 10 looks pretty good. It kind of makes you wonder, where are they going to get these vehicles? And I do remember that I think GM was interested in building something like this, where it could make these flying taxis. So maybe look for something like that in the future, where they're
don't get me wrong. This is definitely a long-term play. I mean, think about it. If you bought Tesla when it IPO'd, I mean, just think what you'd be now,
right?
So this is the future of things. This will eventually make you a ton of money. It's just, how willing are you to wait? So
that's an excellent point. And our point was, most likely autonomous flying is going to be easier and more adaptable in this world than autonomous vehicles in the short term. Finding a company that clearly generated some interest for an autonomous taxi service is interesting. Keep that on your radar. Number 2, the robots are here. They're not coming. They are here. So having a autonomous or a factory run by I forgot the damn thing again. Gray, there it is. Whatever.
Yeah, remember my girlfriend is run by a robot also.
I do. I'm looking forward to meeting her though, with gloves. I don't think I ever want to actually touch it. What's Berkshire Grey's damn ticker again? I'm so embarrassed.
BGRY.
BGRY. Thank you guys. All right, so don't be afraid of dabbing your toes into a robot company designed to run warehouses, because that is clearly an awesome application of this technology. The future is here. That's a cheap one. And then, man, artificial intelligence running your entire business, a God's eye view of your entire business, making every data point connect together to form accurate predictions into your business is something not to ignore. And more importantly, the first company I know of that I've seen of this like big hypothetical world that is producing true cash flow, not an internet cash flow, not e-commerce, but a technology producing cash flow. Awesome. So those are 3 great ideas we're able to provide. I think Palantir is going to provide plenty of opportunity for swing and day trades. An easy entry point is going to be around $24. That's a no-brainer. I think Berkshire Grey, more or less, is going to be the same thing. A little bit more of a midterm hold. I think you get some short-term plays out of Palantir. Obviously, has a lot of long-term applications. I think with the long-term stuff, you really want to get the better price. Berkshire Grey, I think, man, if you could dip in right now, you're probably going to find a good one. BG.
And we're not jumping on the bandwagon with Palantir. If you go back months and watch the shows, in the history, you'll see that we went on and on about Palantir.
Oh, we like
it. I'm actually up on Palantir because of you guys, making the case, and so I'm up on it right now.
Bring it to me, baby.
Thank you, Joseph.
Couple of guys wearing fucking heavy metal t-shirts. Guys, this is the place to be, man. If you guys just want to have fun and be able to talk about this, this is the place to do.
Don't believe everything we tell you.
We're not.
Do your own diligence.
These are just the opinions that we see that entice our ideas, and we like to get together with our friends and talk about it. We like Berkshire Grey at this price. Is probably, I don't know. I would say it's probably okay. I think if you're looking for a quick trade, wait for the price to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, man, if you guys want to bet the farm, how about an autonomous taxi vehicle? So, awesome. Guys, let's throw out we got plenty of time. Let's throw out, go ahead, Joseph, what were you going to say, man?
Someone was asking about Wish and if there's any,
to the
downside. And their earnings weren't great, but the fact they say that they see their Q3 sales to decline further, doesn't make me want to really get in there. No, the news, guys, the news is what moves, and that guidance was the killer. It might be a tad oversold. You'll get a little bounce, but not much. And you're going to want to see this. You're going to want to see this with a lot of companies that are reporting. They're going to have great earnings or great sales, but if they don't deliver on the guidance, or if they cut it, or if they don't even give you any, then that's going to you're going to see a lot of people leave the stock because they want to keep. If they're going to keep it, they're going to want to see the sales and the revenue continue to come in. And if they don't see it next quarter, then that's not good.
That's the intelligent investor, but Wish has been traded by the meme douchebags for months now.
Ooh.
So that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, you're right, absolutely right, Joseph. That the smart investor is going to get out on fundamentals and earnings reports and numbers. But go ahead, I keep interrupting everybody, and I apologize.
You're good. I mean, it just looks like this is okay. So right now we've already printed an all-time low. It looks like. So I mean, could this be the last time we see the price is low? It could go lower. It's not too oversold. It's actually been more oversold than this. So maybe when it starts to reach 20 RSI, that you could probably maybe make a wish and grab some.
And what exactly does Wish do? They're what internet
So
sales? Is that what they
yeah,
do?
they sell these little, I don't want to call them worthless, but they're like these little cheap things that you can just get for nothing. I don't have the best background on this, but my understanding is that they're big enough to get a lot of NBA players with their that have their logo on their jerseys, so their names out there. But they do sell these small little items. I think, Mike, didn't you say you bought something from them at one point, or was that Ryan?
Not
Somebody
me.
bought
Yeah.
somebody. Okay, I think it may have been Ryan. He said he bought something off of this. So it's, they do have their business model, but the fact that they are seeing sales decline and app installs decline is not good news.
So this is my deal with Wish. I've ordered a few products off of there. So the first product I got was exactly as described. Then the product started to get, not as the condition as they're saying, and I stopped using it. And at that right there told me, I was like, if I was interested at first, I was like, you know what, people aren't going to use this anymore. It's going to stop happening to people. So
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Say it again. We couldn't quite hear him.
Okay, so I ordered, I used Wish. And first of all, it takes 2 months before you even get anything.
Wow.
That's the first single flaw. Secondly, with all that stuff is cheap because it's open box, or it was like a return or something like that. And sometimes, man, the stuff's not even in good condition. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Opinion, but that's just what I feel about it.
Any insight that anybody else has on it, that's great, because I don't know a whole lot about what they do. I never bought
and I can't
see.
see. Oh, it looks like it's an online shopping store,
Yeah.
and provides personalized products, clothing products, accessories, gaming products, and equipment. And all of this is on the overview tab out of details in Benzinga Pro.
Yeah.
For those of you who want to know.
And bottom right-hand corner, I wish we put it at the top, but nonetheless, bottom right-hand corner, you get a quick synopsis of the company. We just did Weber. Weber, I think that's the post-honeymoon IPO crunch. The Bulls came in, they took their cash, they're out. There's no volume. The Bears are going to want to sell it. Plus, I mean, it's grills. I think you got to wait for a story. Otherwise, it's like slow and steady. I think you're going to be sitting on that one for a minute.
Colleen on YouTube says a Wish takes months to deliver, and it's mostly Chinese products. Well, I agree with you on takes months to deliver, but what on the internet and what that you buy from Amazon or Walmart or anybody is Chinese at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's the globalized world. Hey, we have one more great ticker in the chat. Luminar Technology is a company I wish I had spent a little bit more time. I think I missed out on some decent trades here. Is this isn't happen to also be somewhat of a meme stock, is it?
I don't think so.
Autonomous vehicle. This was with the Tesla. Okay.
This is a LiDAR play.
The sensing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
the sensors.
This is kind of like the MBiz 2.0, like Microvision 2.0, I like to say. But there's been a lot of back and forth as to who has the better product between the two. And right now, I don't know that either one actually has anything tangible. I know Microvision has a lot of patents, but they don't have a product that they're selling. That's my understanding. Now, this one, Luminar, I think I recently saw that they were getting some kind of partnership or involved with some vehicle maker, but I don't recall who that was. Now, if we go to their sales, they are raising their outlook, so that's good, even though they missed their estimate on EPS. So that's what kind of you want to see is that they're raising their goals, and
I like that.
There's more gas in the tank for this. So
yep.
I'd like to see it get above the 50, because right now it's just kind of hanging out at the 1750 area.
Exactly, and there's just not a ton of green volume going back to. I think RSI is going to dip a little bit, maybe bounce off the 30 and kind of move around. I see maybe a couple pops, but I think a little bit more downside. I wouldn't be surprised if it wants to find this support level again around just under 17, maybe right at it, and kind of start trying to build up from there. Just my point of view. That's all. Cool, man.
It's kind of trading along like Microvision is right now. It's kind
Really
of
believe it.
just hanging out. So, you know, and the reason why you'd probably think this is a meme stock is because Microvision very much was one of those, and it's not one of those that you want to hold at all. It's just something that's worth a day trade and nothing else really. Because the rug could get pulled out from you at any time on this. Just look at back in May when it ran up in 2 days, and then it just created a whole new generation of bag holders. Same thing in June.
Yeah.
So just be careful with these kind of stocks. Don't hold them. Just day trade them until they actually get something good.
Good point. Good point.
Kieran, what's the ticker for you? The company you bought yesterday, Rio Tinto.
Rio Tinto.
What's the ticker on that?
It's a RIO.
RIU.
RIOO.
All right.
Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. Holy crap! Nice.
It's a good support point, I think, and it's a long-term investment. The company does gives a lot of dividend as well, and I think it's tanked down because they have changed the dividend regulations. They're not going to give a dividend. People who have voted just recently, so they tanked down. But I think it's a medium term. It's going to go back again 90s, I think.
I think you're right, especially if the sellers just took advantage of the bad news on the dividend. Who cares? That's not my problem.
There's a lot of people that just hold the stock squarely for the dividend.
I know.
Yeah.
Ford Motor Company was
and they're
that
gone
was
now.
the only thing holding that. Yeah. Awesome, man. Great. I got no beef with that. Yeah, one man transfer. What's up? Somebody's jumped in.
All right, Michael, wind us down, man. We got 2 minutes left, so take us out.
I did want to say something, man. I was reading a comment about someone was so pessimistic yesterday on the internet about a simple article about trying to save money on CNBC, and they're all just railing against, well, you probably have rich parents and you probably have trust funds. I don't think anybody in this room has rich parents and comes from trust funds. I think we're all trying to make it on our own. Long story short, I think that individual had a very pessimistic view of the world. They may not have found themselves yet, which is a battle we all have to do, but nonetheless, they just aren't optimistic about anything in this world. And that is what is absolutely driving me nuts. And that's the wrong way to go about things. Guys, the more pessimistic that we get, the more further we're going to be driving apart. It's as if we cannot look at each other, accept anybody slightly different than us. So do me a favor this weekend, everybody, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Zoom, do something for yourself. Make sure you're happy this weekend so you can get a little bit of optimism starting on Saturday or Sunday. Just something that, like, holy crap, I did this for myself and I'm happy about it. I strongly recommend cranking heavy metal records. It is so much fun. Maybe it's a screwdriver at 7 in the morning. I don't care. But don't be pessimistic. We've got to turn this world around somehow. Optimism is the only way to do it. Do something for yourself, guys. That's it. That's my message. So, thank you so much for being here. You guys have made my weekend. I love hanging out with you all. I learned so much from everybody. I can't wait for next week's show. This has been a lot of fun. Spencer, I'm probably going over.